Okay, my voice is a little rough. I've recorded 2 reactions already tonight, one of which I very much didn't mean to, but now, let's have a look at that Gaslight District, shall we? Let's have a look at whatever the hell that is. And because I need to do my job a little bit better, the way that it works on this channel, the way that I've decided to make it work going forward, is when I'm reacting to a series of something. The Gaslight District is not a series yet, it only has a pilot, but if I'm doing, for example, Murder Drones or something, it'll be out once a week. There will be an episode out. If you want early access to them, you can become a member of the channel. There'll probably be a few episodes for you to get early access to. But it'll be once a week, and it'll come out slowly, and that's hard for me to wait for, because I'm an impatient man. But I want to do things in a slightly more responsible pace for myself so that I can actually keep shit up. So yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, there is a half-decent chance that there might be a couple of episodes of Murder Drones available as well to members of the channel, so you can do that if you want to, or you can just wait. Everything on this channel will eventually come out publicly for everyone. I know occasionally sometimes it says on the video members only, but that's temporary. It'll all come out for everyone eventually. You don't have to pay for anything, you just have to wait. Anyway, Gaslight District. So, I've been doing the Amazing Digital Circus, and yes, I've seen there's a trailer for the next episode. By the time this comes out publicly, that episode will probably be out. Or maybe not? I don't know. When the hell was that episode supposed to drop? I don't know. I've been doing the Amazing Digital Circus, and I've been kind of excited for Gaslight District, because when this thing dropped, a lot of the animators I follow, a lot of the people I know who are obsessive about animation, who are like professional animators themselves, got really excited for this, got really excited for the way the show was animated, and were gushing about it on Blue Sky. And so I've been quite excited to get into this, in no small part because, as far as I could tell from the screenshots I've seen, this show doesn't seem to, like, obsessively abuse the concept of motion blur, which is nice. That's lovely. I'll get to see things a little bit more clearly, and I am pleased by the possibility of that. I've seen some of the distortions and some of the extremely fun animation techniques that have sort of been used in screenshots and shit. So I'm kind of curious to see how this plays out in actual motion. Outside of that, though, I don't know anything about the Gaslight District. I've managed to stay away from any plot discussion or spoilers or themes or whatever's going on. I just know that this is a show that got a bunch of animators, like, gave them really excited tinkly feelings in their pants. And that is a big endorsement for someone like me. Okay, well, blinking light warning, I guess.
The world as we know it came to an end eons ago.
Post-apocalyptic, okay.
Humanity, twisted, bent, and misshapen by hubris, have entered a golden age of never-ending life. The Black Hand. The Rotlings, blissful in their lives of decadent indulgence, are haunted by a myth.
The beast whose blood flows black threatens our blessed world. Fear the prophecy. Fear the human born of the angel's egg.
Welcome to the Gaslight District! Abandoned by God! The denizens of this land are left to rot, fester, scab, and peel for all eternity. That is until the prophesized human decides to show its face.
Gee, I wonder who that human could be. Jesus Christ, that was hard! Okay. I managed to... I wanted to watch the intro sequence and like get the pitch for the thing without interrupting it a million times. The self-control I have just exercised for the benefit of you people. You don't even know. Okay. All right. Cool. Okay, so we get to talk about my favorite subject. Differential animation timings. The water in the background. Sunrise over the sea. We have this ocean effect. Everything moves on ones. Everything moves on every single frame of animation. Everything moves, right? And it moves consistently at, I guess, 30 frames per second, given that this is uploaded to YouTube, and I don't think it's a 60 FPS video file. Then secondarily, we have another thing that moves. The character here in the middle moves. But then on the next frame, as you can see, the water is changing, but the character is not. They don't move, right? And they're moving on, let's see, a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. They're moving on threes right now. Yeah, pretty consistently, they're moving every third frame. This character's model is moving. And then we have the little, whatever the hell this thing is. Angel bird, whatever it is. It seems to be moving more or less on fours. Every fourth frame, its fur will do something, right? And so, all across this shot, we're working with differential animation timings, where different pieces, parts of the scene, different characters, different things, are moving at different frame rates and are moving at offset frame rates from one another. And as we talked about before many times, originally, way back when, this kind of like frame stuttering animation technique was a way to make animation look more smooth by, like, even if you were only animating individual elements in the frame on threes or on fours or whatever, like animating at these slower frame rates, if in the frame something is moving every single frame of animation, it creates a kind of interpolation effect. Everything looks a little bit smoother. It looks a little bit more alive rather than having the sort of stuttery mechanical step feeling that you can get when something only moves every third frame. It can look kind of stuttery, it can look a little bit slideshowy. When something moves every fourth frame, it gets even worse. You can alleviate that by, okay, we're animating each individual piece, only animates on threes or whatever, but because it's moving, there's always something moving in frame, you get a sense of like, okay, much more smoothness to the things. It's also an animation technique that is sometimes used in stop motion animation. And stop motion seems to me very obviously to be the place that you want to go here for some aesthetic comparisons, because this is very, very, very heavily imitating stop motion puppetry in the way that it's put together. And this gets into some stuff about actual film cameras and things, which is somewhat outside of my area of expertise, but filming stop motion, right? Filming models like that, building models for stop motion, is an art that has a certain set of imposed limitations and like things that need to be done in order to make it work, right? All stop motion puppets have armatures inside them, which is like these little, usually metal skeletons inside of like whatever material the puppet is made of, that allows them to be like moved incrementally and posed individually in very small ways. And that imposes some limitations on the character design of stop motion puppets, because no matter what you want to design the stop motion puppet to be, somewhere inside the puppet there needs to be room for the armatures, there need to be room for like the physical materials that are necessary in order to mount the puppet to an animation rig, in order to like get the puppet onto the set to be photographed, right? And to be manipulated by the animator without breaking it. And that is part of the reason why stop motion looks the way it does from a character design perspective, is because stop motion characters need to have a certain volume, they need to have a certain shape in order to be viable for stop motion as an animation discipline. And like in modern times with modern technology, a lot of like 3D, sometimes occasionally 3D replacement animation, compositing, all kinds of animation techniques, all kinds of like digital technology can be used to expand what is possible in stop motion animation. Leica Studios, especially Kubo and the Two Strings, really pushed a lot on what was fucking possible with 2D, with stop motion animation like that, what was possible in character design. But there is always that influence of the history of stop motion animation and its approach to character design that influences what these things look like. These characters, I'm bringing all of this up because the characters in this show so far look so much like characters that are designed to work as stop motion characters, as stop motion character design, right? There's a certain chunkiness to them. Baby boy, baby girl, no. Okay, hang on. I need to get my cats out of my office because they are hyphy and they're chasing each other around. And at some point, they're going to step on something and turn my computer off. Okay, there we go. Sorry. They were just like, they were running over, like, right over my keyboard. Oh my goodness. What was I saying? Right. The character design. The style of character design that this show is showing, a lot of it feels like characters that were designed to be able to contain the armatures and, like, be mounted and posed and positioned in the way that stop motion characters are, right? And that's also part of the reason why I talk so much about, like, these differential animation timing things, is like that's one of the techniques that some stop motion sometimes uses in order to smooth out the behavior and movement of a scene. And the other thing is the filming, right? Now, this isn't filmed. There is no camera, right? Like, there is no actual physical camera recording these things as they're being moved by a stop motion animator, right? But look at the way the camera, the digital sort of affected camera, nonetheless captures certain aspects of the scenes here. The ways in which the geometry is rendered, the way in which the geometry is posed through the digital camera, right? It has a little bit of that element of, like, I won't say tilt shifting because that's not what it is, but it has a little bit of that element of, like, this is a film camera being focused on something that is actually physically very small, right? And is achieving any sense of scale and size by, like, perspective tricks and by, like, something about the way that they handle the lighting on the character models, right? Like, there's a disconnect in this shot, for example, between the light that's coming from the putative background and then this, the way that the light is catching in, like, the material surface of this character. That's the other thing. The characters all look plastic. They all look like they're made out of clay and plasticine and, like, actual physical materials in a very specific way. This background looks painted, right? Like, it doesn't really look like a real place. It looks like a matte painting, basically. And you can kind of see that even happening in this shot right here, right? Like, this is the kind of shot that you would kind of struggle to do in actual stop motion. But this background here is a matte painting, right? Like, this is a 2D, like a series of 2D illustrations layered on top of each other, composited together in order to achieve the illusion of this, right? Like, that's what it looks like. So there are aspects of this aesthetic that emulates a lot of the aesthetic choices that would be made by stop motion productions. The way the camera captures light, the way the light blooms in the camera, right? That's the other thing, right? As we encounter these light sources going down, it's not just that there's a bright thing, the way the glow shows up, the way light bloom shows up, especially off the sides of, like, the material render, it has that vibe, right? A lot of character details look painted onto them like they are puppets. And it's really genuinely a very, very, very impressive emulation of stop motion. Now, one of my bugbears in animation, like one of the things that I, like, not really a closely held opinion, but more like a slightly contrarian hot take, is I prefer when animation is trying to take full advantage of the strengths of its own medium, rather than slavishly trying to imitate the advantages of another medium, right? In the sense of, if you're doing 3D animation, but the main thing you're doing with it is you're trying to emulate stop motion animation, then at that point I kind of go, well, why didn't you do stop motion then? Like, if stop motion was the expression you wanted, if it was the aesthetic you wanted, if you wanted to do something that looked like stop motion, then the only reason not to do it is because 3D is easier, because 3D is cheaper, right? Like those are good reasons to do it sometimes, but for me, artistically, I kind of go, okay, but rather than seeing you emulate stop motion in 3D, I would much rather see you express what it was that you wanted to express aesthetically in the medium that you're desperately trying to emulate. I kind of felt that way at times about K-pop Demon Hunters. K-pop Demon Hunters also has this kind of thing going on. It's also emulating something of a stop-motion animation style. It's not doing it nearly as completely as this does. K-pop Demon Hunters, for example, doesn't have this chunky approach to character design that, like, identifies this for me so clearly with the output of studios like Laika, with the work of Henry Selick, like Artman Animations also to a certain extent. It doesn't have that. Like, it's emulating a much more polished, much more sort of like Into the Spider-Verse, like the Sony animation thing, right? And I am kind of two minds of that, because K-pop Demon Hunters has this stop motion animation style, kind of, but it doesn't do anything with it. Like it's not really aesthetically a very interesting part of the show, and it doesn't seem to have any commentary or any particular artistic reason for being there, except it kind of looks neat, right? And I have my criticisms of that. Now, what I happen to know about the Gaslight District is that it's not just trying to be stop motion animation. I'm skipping ahead a little bit here. Like, I know from some of the screenshots, some of the little sequences I've seen posted, that this is exploring what is possible within the space of 3D animation. It's trying to do 3D animation with like a stop motion sort of expressiveness to it, but it's doing 3D animation. Like, it's exploring what can be done with 3D animation, and I approve of that. I hope I will approve of that, because like, I do this again. It's not a strongly held criticism. It's not a thing of like, no one who does 3D animation should ever emulate stop motion. Absolutely not. It's just a personal bugbear that if you really want to do stop motion animation, I would much rather see you try that than I want to see you try to do stop motion by doing 3D animation. Blinking lights. Okay, there we go. Then we have these bubbles. Hand animated bubbles. I do like that. Like, that looks to me like, I mean, you could do it with shaders, I suppose, but that looks to me like hand-animated 2D bubbles. I really appreciate that. I like that a lot. Odd thing to say, but I really like this telephone pole. Like, the way the wires are, like, coiled and curled in the water. I find that very appealing.
Eons ago.
We've talked about this with the Amazing Digital Circus as well. Water rendering, right? Like, the way that the Amazing Digital Circus renders liquid is like, that's a specific aesthetic choice that says something about what liquid is within the world of the Amazing Digital Circus, right? Like, that's part of like, oh, it's a video game world. That's why the liquids are kind of wrong, and they don't interact with the things that they're spilling over. This is a little interesting, because this to me feels more like they're actually trying to do material interaction with things like water. I'll be looking out for this, by the way. Like, how do things like liquids, water, like, how do materials interact with each other within the realm of this world? Like, what are they trying to emulate here? because the way that this water splash is done, right? The way that it's like, look how many, like, it's hard to see because it's blurry. All those little things. That kind of looks like the sort of thing that you would do in stop motion animation, where, like, in order to animate a water splash, you would put, like, a little dusting of, like, cotton, right? A little cotton ball that you'd sort of spread out and use to emulate the shape of water spray. I think they did it like that on Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, although I can't remember. It feels like it's sort of going for that. And there's some interesting sort of... Look at this. The way that that spreads out over the surface, but then the buoy itself is kind of still visible through the... Yeah, interesting. I'll be looking out for material interactions like that.
Humanity.
Look at that differential animation timing. This is a shot where you can really see the effect of it, like the way that it smooths things out. Because this shot looks so fluid and alive, but once you reduce it down to its actual frame progression, you can see how much of the shot remains static all the time. But because there's always something moving on every frame, it looks smooth. I love this effect. Like, part of the reason why I talk about this effect all the time and I re-explain it every time is because it's so cool. I love that that's a trick that just works on the human brain. Another thing, I appreciate that these guys aren't just copy-pasted. Like, there's some copy-pasting going on, I'm sure, but they have different teeth. Look. Different fucked up teeth that are, like, uniquely fucked up in unique ways. I appreciate that a lot. I appreciate that they aren't just a copy-pasted set of NPC models, but there's a little individualization that happens. That's another thing, like, because in stop-motion animation, you can't just copy-paste a character. You have to make a puppet, and you have to put it on screen. Like, so they would, by necessity, all be a little bit different, because, like, unless you were spending an inordinate amount of time making them exactly identical in the model shop, it makes more sense to just make them different and unique from one another. And I like that. That's very nice. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of copy-pasting happening in the background, but you can see that they made the effort to make multiple different models of these, like, little fucked-up human dudes. Now, the imagery that's going on here is already quite potent, right? We have humanity, and then humanity, the word itself is shattered by this dagger with the black hand symbol on it that cracks the whole world open. And in these fragmented things, like, you can see, like, the eyes transition from being open to XX because they're dead, right? Killed. Like, you can see the bodies of these humans being twisted within the reflection of this dark hand, right? Like, being misshapen by hubris. It says misshapen by hubris, but the visual language of this shot is telling us not necessarily by hubris so much as it seems to be a pretty direct consequence of whatever the fuck the black hand is. And then we have this shit. Like, this is fully, I swear to God, this is a shot that would have been lifted directly from the Ten Commandments with Charlton Heston. Like, I would bet a bit of money that you can find a shot in the Ten Commandments with Charlton Heston that's directly fucking this. Because that's fucking, like... Yeah. So, lots of demonic script, but constantly this repeated imagery of the shattered mirror, right? Of the shattered reflection. And that brokenness. It's funny how there's just nothing but shattered glass everywhere, huh?
Golden Age.
And then there's that element of panopticon as well, right? Like this eye, all-seeing eye that's looking over everything. A lot of this imagery, like with the sun, with the obelisk, with the eye at the top, this is fully like the sort of shitty Illuminati imagery that you'll sometimes see, but it's also like, that is the eye of providence that's on top of all the American money. It's that imagery that we're calling back to, which, like, again, with the birds, the panopticon, the constant surveillance of everything and everything. Love that little smear. That smear is wonderful. I'm going to be looking for whether there is even one non-shattered window at any point. I love the weight of that little bird thing as well. The way that it lands. Right, like that. The heaviness of the weight as it comes down. No bounce to this thing. This thing, like, drops like a sack of flour. Very Eye of Sauron, this.
Blissful in their lives of decadent indulgence.
I like the grossness. Like, this show really seems to have fun with the grossness.
Haunted by a myth.
Very good. And so far, very little sign of any fucking motion blur, which I appreciate. What a shot this as well, like the way that the framing is handled. Clouds of noxious gas, the trash bags. What a beautiful shot. Like, we get a little bit of blurring on the fast camera movement here, but it's not like, it's not that big, thick, heavy motion blur. I really do like, I'm very happy. I'm very happy there's no motion blur. Also, nice little sort of drama shot, haunted by a myth. Like, this introductory sequence is like, who could possibly be that prophesied human? Who could it be? Who could be the myth that's haunted? Like, who knows? No one knows. Like, it's being very obvious deliberately about it. Oh, nice. You see that little deformation of the thing as it's being swung around? And that's one of the things, like, this is something that stop motion animation often, well, it depends. Some stop motion productions experiment a lot with, like, imitating squash and stretch and smearing, in very specific ways. This doesn't feel like it's quite doing that.
Threatens our blessed world. Fear.
Another thing about materials, look at the cardboard that that dude is wearing. Look how nicely that's rendered. With the corrugation and everything.
Blessed world. Fear the
Interesting this shot as well, as she's walking into frame. She almost glides. That's interesting.
Fear the prophecy. Fear the human. More.
Ah, nukes. Right, post-apocalyptic, I see. Born of an angel's egg. Well, who then is the angel, I wonder? I could fucking... there's a print of that available, I could put that on my wall, I really could. Interesting mix of aesthetic here. Because a lot of this is sort of illustrated, like, you see this approach to, like, line hatching across the outline of that. Like, that's classic American comics, right? Like, that's classic sort of, like, black letter inking, old school grungy underground comics. Like, shit like that would be rendered this way. Very much playing with, like, the aesthetics of, like, ink and paper. And very much sort of rendered in a... I guess a more contemporary graphic design style, but something that's, like, not out of place in, like, the underground comics market of, like, the 1970s or something like that. But then we get here. And, like, these specifically mythological part of this, right? Like the human born from the egg of an angel and this infinity symbol eyes of God thing takes on a rendering style that's much more symbolic, much more stylized, like much more drawn from like the hyper stylizations of, I guess, various forms of religious art would do this. Like I think some forms of Mesoamerican art like take a similar, like that very side on, it's a little bit Egyptian. That's an interesting way to show it.
Born of the angel's egg.
Welcome!
Yeah, look at that suddenness of motion, right? Like the way that he's deliberately jagged in his movement. Yeah, like it's emulating stop motion in an interesting way at this point.
Distract! Abandon!
I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the differential timing on this shit. Again, I'm looking at the material interaction. They're doing something interesting here. Like, this is something that stop motion would not be able to do the same way, right? The way that this slime, right, is operating on a separate animation timing from the environment around it and the characters that are wearing it, that would be a lot more difficult in actual stop motion because, well, you have to mount the thing to something, right? Like, it can't just hover in the air unmoving. That's something 3D animation software can do. And this is where, like, we see that breakaway from just imitating stop motion, right? This is where we start to do things that only 3D animation software would really enable on a technical level. This is a shot that you would not really, like, I think you would struggle quite badly to do that in actual stop motion animation. Like, that would be a really fucking difficult technical shot to do with, like, the melting fingers and, like, the squash and stretch that they're doing and the character coming together, and all of this being in focus in this way in the camera with the slime splashing all over it and the background moving in the way that it is. Like, that, I think, wouldn't really be possible in the same way. This is where I think we see the 3D animation of it all start to assert itself. Breadhead. Huh. Okay, hang on. So, are you rendering that fucking Kingdom Hearts Demon Tower ass creature? So this is all rendered with, like, engine lighting, like with like 3D animation lighting. When we transition to here, I don't think we transition like fully to 2D animation, but we definitely transition to, like, we do a color transition and definitely add some 2D animated details or effects on top of it. I don't know exactly what they're doing, but there's a real aesthetic shift. Also, this kind of movement into the camera, not at all impossible in stop motion, not at all, but another thing that's like, you can do that a lot more casually in 3D animation because you don't have to worry about focus in the camera as much, right? Like, because we have a digital camera, because we have an emulated digital camera, the things that can be kept in focus in the frame, right, change. And you can do stuff with long lenses. You can do, like, I'm not that much up on camera technology. You can do stuff with long lenses. You can do all kinds of little tricks to try and, like, manage what's in focus, like what's in frame. I don't know necessarily that you could do something like this that easily. Look at the change in his character model when he pushes it down, right? He has this very slender finger here, but then as he applies force, right? You can see how they're distorting the model, making it bigger in order to, like, push out and, like, deliver that force that he's snapping that down into the head of the whatever this is. Or the heart, or... The lighting is another thing I'm really paying attention to here, because they're doing something interesting with lighting. It's a very graphical approach to it. Because I'm not 100% convinced that all the edge lighting here, like, that doesn't make sense as part of diegetic lighting, right? The way that this arm is outlined with, like, this very strong line that then continues into the way that the gloves... right, have this strong outline. That to me feels like custom lighting and shading action. They're not just relying on the engine to project light onto the character model. There's a lot of work being done by the compositor and the lighting artist, placing edge highlights in order to support and emphasize the character's action and their key poses, in order to support the aesthetic of this thing. Like, there must be automated workflows for this sort of thing. I don't know about them, but there must be, because doing this manually is like, fuck me, that would be difficult. That would be really difficult to do manually for every frame.
For all eternity.
Let's see. Step 1. Trick everyone into believing this is the human egg. It's just an angel's egg. Steal it. The Virtue Core. Exposed. Oh, cool. Different character designs. What kind of secrets do these walking tin cans have locked away in the Citadel? The returned pieces of our investigative journalist may tell the tale. Get past these things. Weirdo. Virtue Core. Heart of St. Andrew. Lungs of St. Jude. Are we building... someone? Hijack truck. Where do I come from? Humans are born from angels. Sources have confirmed that prophecy is human, born every 10,000 years from the egg of an angel. The human holds the power to destroy the gaslight districts as we know it. It must be rooted out and destroyed with prejudice.
That is until the prophesized human decides to show its face.
Huh. Interesting little diagram. Look at that spray. Look at that, like... gorgeously animated. Oh. I do love me a good engine animation with some personality to it. Look at the fucking jiggling on this thing. Look at it go. And this one, interestingly, we talked so much about differential animation timings, right? There is that exists in this shot, right? Like, you can see the effects, the smoke sort of moves at a different frame rate, but notice that the engine, right? The engine is not, like, the pistons aren't moving at individualized frame rates from one another. They are all moving together all the time, mechanically, right? And that's the other thing, is when you make these creative decisions about when to use differential animation timings, when you make these creative decisions about when something moves, what timing it moves with, that changes the feeling of it. And if you watch early Disney animation, like the early silly symphonies, right? Like where you would often get these panning shots over these big scenes of many characters doing many things, but every single character in these shots all the time was always moving in complete synchronization, right? Complete synchronization, all moving on the exact same timings all the time. And that contributed in large part to a very mechanical feeling sometimes. Like looking at very early Disney animation sometimes felt a little bit like watching a tin toy move, right? It's sometimes like because it had that mechanical consistency of everything always moving at the same pace, at the same motion speed, at the same like everything. That's part of what you can do when you deliberately adopt like a unified animation timing for something like a machine, which is meant to be operating mechanically. So that's the gang, huh? God, there's so much work going into this. Like, I know I've talked about those differential animation frame timings before, but for a shot like that, that differential, like choosing what moves when, it matters so much. Like, we get this hold here for like 3 frames. And for those 3 frames, everything else in the frame, which is like the headlights of the other trucks in the background, are moving on ones, right? Because, God. We have a car combat theme going on tonight, I see. I just reacted to the Hell of a Boss short with the car. And the guy who said the thing. Oh, interesting texture work there. The windows seem to change rather independently of the light sources. That's interesting. It gives it an odd sense. I love a good flash frame. Poor drivers. Look at that. The driver falling out of it onto the... oh, that's gorgeous. Holy shit. Oh, that's cool. Look at that. Like, whoever's doing the flash frames is just having fun with it. Look at fucking this. Look at that. Collide. Fold up like a fucking harmonica. And pop back out. I'm sorry, I know it's not a harmonica. It's in English. In Danish, an accordion is a harmonica. And I always mess that shit up. It's an accordion. Fold up like an accordion and pop back out. But yeah, in Danish, a harmonica is a harmonica, but an accordion is also a harmonica. So that's where the confusion is. Animation smear. Look at that. Entirely a possible kind of smear to do in stop motion, by the way. It's just the ways in which this is playing with 3D animation rather than stop motion is good. Look at the clarity, by the way. You see what we can have? You see what we can have when we're not stuck with motion blur absolutely ruining the detail on every single shot? When we're not stuck with that? Another way you can tell it's not stop motion animation, clipping. You see what we can have? The things, the sights we get to see? We get to see a nipple painted on a green man. We wouldn't get that in the Amazing Digital Circus. Look at the sliminess and the gooiness of his body, like the way that it, as he's ramming his head into the steering wheel, the way that it's like... How long is it gonna take to produce episodes of this show, by the way? Like, this seems so incredibly fucking intense from a production standpoint. I think this took 2 years. Yeah, at the fucking least. Jesus Christ.
Bradhead! Cropper needs a favor.
Oh, interesting. That dialogue animation is interesting. Papa needs a favor. Yeah, okay, so he's moving at such a low frame rate. That's interesting. He's moving at such a low frame rate that they're having to adjust the level of lip sync they're doing. So this is not like someone like Kane where you can kind of lip read him even though he's just like a pair of chattering teeth. Here, they're making some specific choices because he's at such a low frame rate. They're making some pretty specific choices about like what syllables they're actually enunciating with his character model there. Some really complex dialogue animation from him too.
He's left in 3, 2, 1.
This show loves being gross so much. I really, really appreciate it. I appreciate how much it loves being disgusting. I appreciate how much it animates its objects as well. Right? Like the fucking slam down the wiggle of like the rifle coming to a rest. Like the dude winding up for like the hawk, like again that like pull of the head and the jaw following. Oh, the little fucking squash and stretch on the irises as they like snore around the eyeballs. Ah. The little wiggle around of the finger is very good. I guess that says click. C-L-I-C-K. Yeah. Okay, so it's just a replacement cipher then. So it's just English, regular English, written in English, but they're just replacing the letters with runes then. Okay. Then you should be able to decode absolutely everything in it. Cool. I'm not going to do that right now. But I'm sure some fans have done it already, and they're speculating on the lore. Love a good flash frame? Oh, that's cool. Okay, so we do the flash frame, right? Like, we have this very static, deliberately, completely still shot of the guy waiting for the bullet. Then we have, like, the bullet going through his head, and then we return to the static shot for just one frame. And then we get the actual thing. That's very good.
Dirty, bloody, pulpy, purple scum! Wait, why are we hunting Jack? Oh, I like Jack.
If we get paid, who cares why we do it?
I'll give.
The little furtive, like, swinging the eyes around clearly doesn't want to answer the question.
Jack.
If we get paid. Who cares why we do it?
I'll give you 5 scarab to turn mud inside out.
I'll give him 10.
Or till you degenerates for free!
Hey, Dad, check this out.
Redhead, since you were just a bun in the oven, you've been nothing but good. But your sister... Get back in here, you little brat!
Worst comes to worst, she loses a leg. Just sew on a new one when we get...
So, we're introducing the character dynamics here. Melancholy, huh?
To turn mud inside out.
Look at that snap. Like, this is the kind of thing... That snap from pose to pose, from here to here... Like, no intermediary frames whatsoever. The only reason that works is because the show has so efficiently established its limited frame rate animation style.
5 scarab to turn mud inside out.
And I don't think you would do that in, like, a high quality... I don't think you really would do that in a high quality, stop motion production.
I'll give him 10.
Or till you degenerates for free!
There's also something of... There's also something of... I was about to say G-pose, that's the wrong thing. SFM. Source filmmaker. There's definitely something of the source filmmaker tradition in here. Like, a source filmmaker often also operated with, like, these extremely limited frame rates and this very deliberately jagged animation style where we're just kind of snapping from key pose to key pose without easing and without, like, motion tweening. Like, that's a very iconic part of, like, TF2 YouTube poops, right? But this then is augmented by things like a real great sense of, like, using smearing, using deformation, using snapping for emphasis.
Till you degenerates for free!
Hey, Dad, check this out.
Redhead, since you were just a bun in the oven, you've been nothing but good. But your sister... Get back in here, you little brat!
Another great use of that pop, right? And that distortion. And I guess with him, we're working with a split brain, quite literally, huh? Where he goes into the other mode. So now he's left-brained, that's logic, that's thinking. He goes to right brain, that's emotional, that's angry. I guess that's the thing that's going on with him.
Worst comes to worst, she loses a leg.
God, the animation in this fucking thing is good. I'm sorry, I know we're supposed to actually watch it. I just want to frame by frame my way through the whole fucking thing, man. Just to see.
Just sew on a new one when we get...
That's a lot of eyes on the inside. Some of these fucking shots, like the camera swoop That's a hell of a fucking shot.
So, Jack, as I was saying before you bolted on us, my blood, it's purple.
Right? You can't silence me, Black Blood!
Wrong! All Jack needed to do was answer correctly, and Papa would have shown him some mercy.
What happens to Mud and Breadhead when they learn you're the human? Will Papa be able to protect you when the whole island pieces together what you are?
I'm gonna make sure they don't.
The fucking... just the way they animate the swoop and the distortion on the fucking guy's eyes, man.
When they learn you're the human, will
I'm sorry, I'm just watching. I don't know that I can add that much commentary, just...
I'm gonna make sure they don't. Shit.
What's even the point of guns, really?
It kills me to do this to one of my own. So I won't. Breadhead, do it for me.
please listen to me?
Interesting change in format, also. Right, you notice, like, we changed to a cinematic format here. The whole rendering style changes, the lighting changes. The camera work changes, even. In its smoothness. This is a good shot composition, by the way. Like, her blood is being revealed. Oh fuck, this is the evidence that I'm a human. And now she's like, even though she's getting up in this, like, on the street, unconstrained by everything, she's getting up in the eye of this circle, right? And then she's in the eye of another circle because she's being spotted. It's very effective, like to make the character feel trapped immediately, right? And we have this panopticon thing with the angels' eyes like cameras. Wait, I wasn't paying attention. Does that fucking road sign literally say Paradise Lost? Chainport, Checkpoint Heaven. Look at that. Look at him fucking snaking, distorting his ass out.
tells me to do this to one of my own.
This is fully like a SpongeBob shot as well, right? Like, this is a different character model. You can see it happening. Like, you can see the way we push in, and here the swap happens, right? Like, where we swap from the sort of regular rendering model into, like, the sort of, like, the classic sort of Nicktoons, like, extreme close-up where everything gets way more gross all of a sudden. Very 2000s Cartoon Network thing. Cow and Chicken did that often, I think. Where the character model is even more extremely rendered. Like, the materials rendering, like, really fucking dials it up 10 notches. So that you really get that alienating anti-masking effect.
God tells me to do this to one of my own. So I won't. Breadhead will do it for me.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have that much commentary. I'm just enjoying myself. Like, the way Jack is animated here, as he comes up for, like, his little wiggling, raggling dialogue scene. Like, this is where I start to see more of the amazing digital shit, fuck. Press the wrong hotkey. This is where I start to see more of the amazing digital circus, because this is some of the same dialogue animation technique that I definitely saw in Kane, and the way that he's put together, just rendered at this much lower frame rate. Animation style, but like this approach to like distortion, to extreme expression, that's reminiscent of like the animation of someone like Kane.
Listen to me!
Ken deceived us all.
The shop won't be the same without you, buddy.
Samantha.
Yeah, that would be the only way to shut him up, right? Yeah.
My soul's alone to burn. Once you reach the bone, a fight my worse than death. Silent! Silent! Silent!
And hardly the only one down there either. So this still looks like the 3D models being used for the animation, but like some very nice shaders being thrown across like the outlines of the character's volume to really emulate that sort of 2D animation feel. Could also be rotoscoping, but I'm pretty sure it's the 3D models. And they're really having fun with it. Interesting role of the water there. Because the water is like... We have this post-apocalyptic thing. The whole society is like floating on an island out in the middle of nowhere. And underneath the water is where the old civilization is buried.
Welcome to the Whale Belly Butcher Shop.
There you go.
Thank you, Mel.
So whose eyes is that? Interesting texture work. Whale, I guess. Man, every fucking shot, every fucking frame of this, there's stuff I just kind of wanna look at, man. Little tiny choices.
Welcome to the Whale Belly Butcher Shop.
Like, very deliberate use, right? As we're doing like this, him kissing the hand, we're very deliberately going to like the lowest frame rate possible. And like absolutely no easing, absolutely no transitional frames. As she's giggling, it's just snap, snap, key pose to key pose, absolutely nothing. And then this fucking thing. What a great little shot. Like using that staticness 2D animating over top of it.
There you go. There you go.
Thank you, Mel.
I like the way they're using the cigarette smoke. The fucking distortion on the model as he like gets into this like little twisty swing. It's very funny that there's such a thing as an organ donor card. Look at the clipping. Like, look at the way clipping is being used here. As that's the other thing. I think the show uses clipping. Right? Like, the fact that shit is clipping, that shit is like sort of breaking through, that seems to be a deliberate part of the aesthetic, too.
Say, Pips.
God, they're having fun with the distortions and the breaking. Fucking AI-generated hand over here. There's such a freedom of expression here. There's such a deliberate delight in breaking model, in clipping, in...
Say, Pipsqueak.
Ah, fuck me, this is good. I'm sorry. I wish I had more cogent commentary to offer. I'm just...
Impressive stuff out there for your first job. How about you come work for me instead? I'll pay you triple whatever Kenny Boy's giving you. Huh?
Triple or nothing is still nothing.
Yeah, Ken pays us invaluable life experiences. Back to work, you ungrateful little stains.
You're just mad because your greatest fear's finally been realized. Me, an official member of the Smiling Dead.
You keep her bored like You keep her bored like this, she's gonna start cooking up some crazy shit herself.
Too late! I already have.
I like the relationship there. It's like, back to work, you ungrateful. Like, that mutual aggression, right? Like that growling and yapping at each other, but then also...
Too late! I already have.
that little gesture of care, which nonetheless is painful.
I already have.
Right? Like that. He's doing that because he cares for her, or because he wants to preserve her secret at the very least. But also it's that hiding thing, right?
Now look at you, huh? Delicate, unscarred, all your original limbs, untouched by this putrid world. And I would like to keep it that way.
Again, this is where we come, like, this is where we come to the thing of, like, doing the things that stop motion can't. Something like this shot, right?
That way.
Not that stop motion could never do something like this, but this is something that is much more made possible by the technology of 3D animation.
That way. Now look at us. Crusty, musty. Rusty all over. You ain't one of us. And you never will be.
As I was saying, I may have our biggest job yet.
Ooh, what's the take? Better be enough to get me one of them cozy mattresses. Sick of sleeping on that meat hook.
No, Mud. This has nothing to do with Scarab. More like... Human hay, egg hay.
The human egg. It's a human.
I did some digging and figured out where it is. Paradise Lost.
It is Paradise Lost. Okay.
Sneak our way into heaven, snatch the egg from its frail old mother, then smash it in front of the whole town. Boom! We're legends!
Well, Paradise Lost belongs to the virtues. Haven't I ever told you what being sentenced to an eternity in the Inferno is like? Imagine being subjected to a never-ending rain of filthy, icy slush. It dripping into every fold of your body as you lay frozen and numb, but yet you can't focus on any of it. It's the excruciating pain of pulling out an ingrown toenail. That's it? Huh? Seems pretty easy to me.
Those in favor of a mutiny, point and say, go to hell.
Go to hell!
Father, daughter talk now.
What's the take? Better be enough
Better be enough to get me one of them cozy mattresses.
Magic tricks is another thing.
Sick of sleeping on that meat hook.
No, Mud. This has nothing to do with Scarab.
Look at that fucking mouth animation. God damn. And the way, like, so much of the character model, you can see it in the way that, like, around her nose, right? We have these little pencil drawings essentially on top of her character model. But even stuff like this for the skin texture, right? It's rendered as cross-hatching. And the motherfuckers seem to have fucking... It looks like they've put fingerprints in the surface of the model in the same way that you sometimes get on plasticine stop-motion models from the movement of the animators.
The human egg. It's a human.
I did some digging and figured out where it is. Paradise Lost. We sneak our way into heaven, snatch the egg from its frail old mother, then smash it in front of the whole town. Boom! We're legends!
Well, belongs to the virtues. Haven't I ever told you what being sentenced to an eternity in the inferno? Paradise Lost belongs to the virtues. Haven't I ever told you what being sentenced to an eternity in the inferno?
Again, these little deliberate choices about edge lighting on the characters. These little deliberate choices of, like, the way that Mud is sliding out of the screen. He's moving so smoothly on ones, right? It's all of it. All of it is a part of the aesthetic expression here.
And subjected to a never-ending rain of filthy, icy slush. It's dripping into every fold of your body as you lay frozen and numb, but yet you can't focus on any of it. It's the excruciating pain of pulling out an...
Gross.
toenail! Smash it!
What a lovely little aesthetic choice this as well, right? Like, as Ken is sort of descending into this horror fantasy in the depths of his head, and, like, he's rendered at, like, this low saturation, he's kind of grayed out, and kind of... And then here comes Breadhead. So bright, so colorful, so unbothered. Literally bringing him back to reality by just, yeah.
It's pretty easy to me.
Those in favour.
Look at the extreme distortion also on Mud's hands here. Like, the size of his arm and hand relative to, like, his head and body, really, like, poking into the frame.
Favour of a mutiny, point and say, go to hell. Go to hell!
The stiffness as she's being carried. What a lovely expression.
Now!
So this is an interesting shot, right? This is a POV shot from Ken's perspective, right? So it's him looking at the door as he's like locking it. Again, this is a thing that that wouldn't be impossible in stop motion, but is definitely made a little bit less logistically impractical by the 3D animation software camera. Sonora, huh?
Selling these idiots, huh? There's only ever one human walking around this shithole, and that's you!
That's the beauty of it, Ken. I'm lying! It's just some dumb angel egg. All those idiots in town will go crazy about it. We dress it up, destroy it, and then no one will think twice about me being human again. Besides, I'm sick of you cementing all my buddies!
And whose fault is that? Jack saw your nose bleed. Honest mistake, not much we can do about that.
Okay, there's a little bit of horniness in there too. Good.
But you straight up told Romeo, who then told Kathy, who then told Sid. And now I'm missing a dishwasher, a busboy, and 2 waitresses!
Dad, work with me here. Picture this! Ken the Butcher, handsome leader of the Smiling Dead.
Very good shot of him going along with it.
Slays the human.
By the way, is that St. George and the Dragon? I think it is an illustration of St. George and the Dragon. Which, again, there's definitely some fucking Christian mythology going on here. Right? Like, we saw, like, again, we talked Eye of Providence, like, sort of this divinity thing. The virtues, the angels, paradise lost. We're doing a lot of fucking Christianity bullshit here. The question is whether it's an aesthetic affectation or if we're actually engaging with Christian mythology. Because, like, within the conception of that, the idea of, like, a human born from an angel's egg, that is to say, a human being born from divinity, that's when we're operating with a Jesus metaphor, all of a sudden, right? Which means this is the Redeemer, but what is she here to redeem?
The human saves the Gaslight District for another 10,000 years, until the human is born again. Blah, blah, blah. Also throwing some crap advertising the restaurant. Just look it over. If there's any problem at all, I swear I'll never bring it up again.
All this info is legit. The times, locations, the virtue.
Triple checked, sources confirmed.
Oh, they had some fun here, right? As she's stepping around him, hyper distorting the model right behind him. Like, beyond what she could actually do, but just in service of the expression of it.
Checked, sources confirmed, and then silenced.
Okay, you win. One condition. You don't leave my side. You pull any stunts like earlier today, and you never see sunlight again.
This is what stop motion can't do. Like, how would you make a whole ass fucking puppet with an armature for one shot like this? to achieve this kind of hyper distortion. Just for the one shot. Checkpoint Heaven, I guess referencing Checkpoint Charlie. So this is gonna go wrong, because that's the only point of a heist in anything, is that the heist goes wrong. Trespassers will be detained and sent to the Inferno. This being clearly based on Dante's Inferno, which is, like, hardly any surprise, begs the question, who's down there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I guess. Who's down here, then? Who's Satan? Like, if melancholy here is our Jesus metaphor, then where is the devil? Where's the tempter? Where's the great adversary, the red dragon? And what is they? What are they, I guess? Hey, Milton. How you doing?
Morning, officer. I believe everything should be in order.
So, an artificial body. Robotic, clearly. Or at least robotic in its expression. Just a brain in a jar, almost. And then a bunch of, like, more flesh and bloody humans as the ostensible servants. Serving a bit of cunt with those heels, I will say. And still, like, you can see the sort of distortion, anticipation, the stretching happening to this character. But so far, it's much less than the others.
Morning, officer. I believe everything should be in order.
Oh, that's interesting. To me, anyway. Like, the way that they're rendered running across the floor there. Again, these questions of, like, careful edge lighting, right? To outline, to clarify the key poses, to make sure that the silhouettes read correctly. I like the heaviness of the virtue as well. Like, how much it's clearly, like...
All clear. Shit.
Oh, quite a lot of cunt, actually. Look at those fucking hips. The little snap. Oh, she's serving it.
We are pleased, and you are a filthy, rancid rotling. You You may proceed.
Very good. Ooh, cool transition, that. That's a nice little hidden cut. And you can see them even, like, we transition from this shot where we're rotating across it. Now they are the ones moving while the shot is static. And then, yeah, that's very good.
All right, here's the plan. Breadhead.
All this cheating to camera as well here. God, they're having a lot of fun with it. Again, if you wanted to do something like this in stop motion, you'd have to create custom rigs for every level of distortion that you wanted to do into camera, and it would only work for that one shot. Which is, like, logistically possible, but deeply impractical.
You're on angel duty.
Bloodborne fucking Bloodborne level.
Pretty bird, love, yummy, yummy bread.
Mud, secure the...
Oh, that doesn't look like bread, does it? When it's wiggling with that. Oh, boy. And the way he reacts to having someone... Like, that's not pain, necessarily, is it?
Mud, secure the cameras and get the guards to focus on our little distraction.
On Joshua! How long has it been? 5,000 years?
Actually, 5,245 years. But who's counting? How's my muddy buddy?
This too is yaoi.
I hate ya. I'll always hate ya. I will never forgive you.
Oh, it's definitely yaoi.
3, 2, 1.
All guards report to the garden. An angel storm is forming. Stop it before it rips this place apart!
So, things are going pretty smooth, don't you think?
Yeah, oh yeah.
You're, proud of me, right? You know, with everything going according to plan and all? Ken?
Need to make a pit stop. Just need 5 minutes.
What happened to don't leave my side?
Plans change! This is what you want, right? To be one of us? A member of the smiling... Here's your chance. Meet me at the stairway. We go up together. Yeah? Wait for me.
There's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold. And that's about as much as I can sing before getting demonetized.
This may sting for just a moment,
Oh, you sound like someone people are horny for.
Please forgive me.
I want to frame by frame my way through. Again, I'm telling you, the level of self-control I am displaying right now is frankly impressive.
This may sting for just a moment. Please.
A human figure plunging into water? Or down from heaven? Or out of a womb? Onto a graveyard? Who's willing to bet that...
This may sting for...
Who's willing to bet there's more than one human?
For just a moment. Please forgive me.
Ooh, look at that flash frame. Oh, that's gorgeous. I like the way that... Blop, 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 blop.
Butcher! How did you find me?
I've kept my promise, Ken. I've never spoken a word, any of it, to anyone. Please, reconsider your options.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! We don't want that kind of heat, mate!
Interesting constellations.
This way, child.
The decision to use, like, a realistic smoke rendering, right? God, they might have filmed that for all I know. Oh, hello.
Child blessed by black blood.
God forgive me, but the Bloodborne comparisons are difficult not to make here.
Ah, shit. That intel.
Oh, how you've grown. I see all, child. You cannot hide what you are from me.
Well, that's one way to deal with it, I guess.
Contain the storm. I'll take care of the intruders. It was just a prank, man. Put me back. Put me back.
Yeah, I see.
You do hear it, don't you? The call of the prophecy echoes louder each day. The call of the prophecy echoes louder each day. A legion of angels to rain fire upon all those who rot upon the earth.
Ken and Mel, meet me at the entrance.
Do our pinky promises mean nothing to you?
Give me shit later.
Foolish, blind human.
Oh, fucking look at that shit. Look at that shit. Fuck me, man. What a clever move. Like, rather than rendering like a leap of the character, we just distort and then rapidly move the camera perspective, distorting the character into it as we go, and that's your leap. Beautiful. Gorgeous.
Now!
Touch not your feet upon the land to be raised. When your day of destiny arrives, we shall be there to guide you on silver wings.
I'm sorry, I just... He's doing the fucking Bruce Lee 1-inch pinky punch. Look at the fucking... This is another thing. Look at the key posing, man. The use of camera motion and relative character motion to create shifts like that. Like, what? Look at that fucking transition. Look how fucking smooth that is. like a grasping claw.
I'm invincible! Me! A member of the Smiling Dead!
I'll make sure you never end up like one of us. Welcome, fine denizens of the Gaslight District. Today, I present to you the human. Keep it together, kid. Buying it. A prayer to the Black Hand. Rotten little human hiding.
Again, like the use of motion and stillness is so many deliberate choices, right? Because here we have these dipshits like running, scrambling past each other, moving asynchronously with the camera motion itself, all through like this extremely deliberately, completely silent, still arrangement of like robed figures. There's a very deliberate choice here not to animate anyone in the crowd doing any fucking thing ever. Because, like, partly because that allows you to focus on the motion of the running characters, but also just the uncanniness of it, right? Like the weirdness of it. Like statues.
To the Gaslight District. Today, I present to you the human.
I really like that. Like, I really like this drumming animation. What is it? It's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 or 5 frame cycle. Just like snapping, 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 snapping from key pose to key pose. And then the little drums have like slightly asynchronous, like just bouncing animation. But because it's moving on these timings, right? Where the drum up there is aligned with the beating of the guy down there, and like the guy down there is aligned with the motion of the guy. Like little things, man.
Keep it together, kid. Buying it. A prayer to the Black Hand. Rotten little human hiding in that egg. Listen and listen good. You shall never find peace in our land, as we will bathe this spike in your black blood time and time again, for you are the one thing to threaten our gift of eternal life. Now, let us rejoice in our victory. Let us restart the cycle. Let us praise the Black Hand.
Oh, oogie boogie ass shadow.
1,000 years.
So that shadow, I don't think they hand animated it. It must be like a shader thing in the 3D software.
Now, just like you planned.
Death to the human. Life for us eternal! No, 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 not now.
Uh-oh.
Liars, charlatans, goblins, liars and cheats, liars and bloody fibbers, That's not a human.
Dad? What do we do now?
Welcome to the Gaslight District, the land of eternal life for all but one of its denizens. A place where everyone has secrets to bury and skeletons to hide. 6 feet deep or 1,000 fathoms under the sea. Eventually, all things rise to the surface.
I walked upon a melancholy hill, while their song echoed
Good
from
job,
the
part-time
castle
seagull.
tree.
Ah, it was a whale's eye. I see.
The weight of family bonds cementing still.
Also, Oliver Bugland, who did the soundtrack, fucking amazing job on that. Let's do IMDb. Alana Fitzgerald. Huh. Interesting. Let's see. My Dear Delirium, Married a Monster on the Hill, Gunbuster, interesting. Sally and Shia, Duo Fortnite Adventure, Pop-Up Dungeon, Fazbear and Friends, Dororo, 8 Cents, Strawberry Hill. Lots of web original animation TV miniseries. Not a lot of huge roles until Gaslight District, though. Interesting. Jason Marnocha, on the other hand, 177 fucking credits. Good lord. Going back to 1996 of all times. He was Prince Renethal in World of Warcraft. New Prince of Tennis. He's done a bunch of work for DC. He's done voices for Smite, Hunter x Hunter. Yeah, Batman Abridged, Batman vs. Superman. As Alfred. Oh, cool. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure as Keiichi Nijimura. The World's Strongest Abridged playing Dr. Wheelo. Ha! Battle Right, Transformers, Combiner War. Fire Emblem Heroes. Red vs. Blue. Oh, goddamn. Death Battle. Cool. Final Fantasy Machine Abridged. I see we're doing, yeah, online royalty. He was fucking in Megalobox. That's awesome. Voiced Megatron for like 10 episodes of Transformers Power of the Primes. Wargroove. One Punch Man. Nice. Multiple voices on that one. Carol and Tuesday. Young Justice Abridged. Very good. One Punch Man. Japan Sinks. Ooh, that's a good one. Sleepy Princess in the Demon Castle. I love that fucking anime. It's so cute. Genshin Impact. Cells at Work Code Black. Lackadaisy comic dubs as Victor. Oh, cool. Seven Deadly Sins. Well, it can't all be bangers. More Transformers, Megatron, and Galvatron, of course. Lupin the Third, the TV series. Miruku-chan. Lost Ark. V Rising. I still get promotional emails from that video game. Diablo Immortal. Damn. Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. Soul Hackers. One Piece Film Red. A Charlotte Oven. Oh, cool. Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Crisis Core. More World of Warcraft. Chainsaw Man. A Samurai Sword. Octopath Traveler. Lackadaisy, where he got to voice Victor for real. Very good. Konosuba, Street Fighter 6, Honkai Star Rail, Diablo 4, Murder Drones, more Death Battle. Holy shit, what a list of creds. Ease, Go-Go Loser Ranger, Unicorn Overlord, Hades 2 as Odysseus. He's Odysseus. Shin Megami Tensei 5, My Adventures with Superman as Jor-El, Devil May Cry, Witch Watch, My Hero Academia Vigilantes. Damn, that's just fucking credits up the wazoo. Let's see, Gianni Matragana, what do we got here? 91 credits. Good lord, all the way back to like, holy shit. 1995, 1989 actually, goddamn. Fist of the North Star, Heroes of New Earth, Warframe, Battle Right, Super Smash Bros. The animated series, I think that must have been, yeah, a TV miniseries, as Bowser, Ganondorf, and Ganon. Oh, cool. Ultra Kill as Gabriel. A Harley Quinn short, Sleepy Princess in the Demon Castle again. Oh. A bunch of games I don't really know. Postal 4, of all things. Cool. And Postal Brain Damage. I didn't know they made more Postal. Gloomwood. Oh, cool. I still need to play that game. He voiced Duke Nukem for a fan restoration project of Duke Nukem Forever. That's pretty nice. Blood West. Whatever that is. Another Crab's Treasure. Aw. Nightmare Card is the announcer. Hey! Fallen Aces. Anton Blast. Cool. And then Gaslight District and Death Battle and Indie Cross as well. Let's see. John Winfield, 16 credits. Not nearly as much. He was on the Duke Nukem Forever Restoration Project as well. Fallen Aces, Fallout London. Jobbing actor. Not a lot of stuff that I know, though. Let's see. Margaret Ashley. Ooh, shit, that's a line of credits that goes back to 1980. Jesus, before I was born. She was on Coronation Street? Only one episode, but still. Must have played a child at that point. Did a voice on a Doctor Who thing. Multiple Doctor Who things. She was in Disco Elysium as multiple voices. She's done some Harry Potter stuff also, which, you know. I guess if you're a British actor, it's kind of inevitable at some point, isn't it? At least nothing recent. Plague Tale Requiem, Lord of the Rings video game? Return to Moria? Yeah. Fallout London. Split Fiction. Oh, cool. Let's see. Tahashai. Oh, there's another jobbing actor. 26 credits. A bunch of minor video games. A Redwall video game. Oh, cool. I didn't know there was a video game for Redwall. Played a couple of characters in Kingdom, Vox Machina. Machinae? Video game, not the other thing. Fallout 4? The Excavation of Hobbs Barrow? Last Epoch. Cool. Interesting. Then we have Michael Kovac, who we know. Well, I guess if you can play Jax, you can play a Virtue. And Cuphead. I will say Belshazzar Jr. Rusap, which I'm misspelling, I think, on IMDb, is a cool-ass motherfucking name. Oh, a Zimbabwean actor. Cool. And also a credits list a mile long, going back to 2017 in this case. Lots of video games, minor TV series, I don't know. Horimiya, he voiced Kakeru Sengoku. My Hero Academia's ending. The Saint's magic power is omnipotent. I quite liked that one. That was, I guess, Isekai Go. That was kind of nice. Black Summoner, Speakeasy, Lackadaisy, a bunch of Lackadaisy. I got a cheat skill in another world and became unrivaled in the real world too. 7 episodes. Classroom of the Elite. Didn't like that one very much, but that's not the actor's fault. Wildcard, Murder at Monster High. Yeah, a bunch of anime roles. A jobbing working actor, clearly. Let's see. Max Pallardi. Literally only the Gaslight District. Same thing with Alex Andreas Tatsumas. And Mohammed here as well, only Gaslight District to their name.
The secrets that our fathers chose to keep. We drown our voice, the truths beneath the tide, and lance the
I just need to read the credits at least once. I think I owe it to this team. The lighting and rendering artists, by the way, on this fucking short, good God, they deserve the flowers. Like, the lighting and rendering, like, it's not my field of expertise. I can't really speak on it that much, but god damn. Like, they fucking did overtime work for this thing. Every role on this credits list is important. Like, I really can't stress that enough. That this kind of thing doesn't exist without all of these people all of the time. But, goddamn. Again, the compositors also. So many flowers for the fucking compositors. Because to composite all of this shit together and make it look good it's not trivial.
Soul adrift without a guiding mark. The ship of family now unrigged adrift, concealed a cargo of unspoken shame. The veil between the worlds begins to lift. As we bear witness to
Well, that was a fucking thing. Fucking goddamn. Fucking goddamn. Honestly. I don't know where to... I was about to say, I don't know where to start.
But you straight up told Romeo, who then told Kathy.
One thing I do like about her is that she's horny and stupid. Like, as a part of characterization of, like, being a teenage girl trying to sort of shape an identity against, like, a somewhat overbearing father figure, it's like, nice, good. Like, teenagers should be kind of stupid and horny.
But you then told Kathy. Then told Sid. And now I'm missing a dishwasher, a busboy, and 2 waitresses!
Dad, work with me here. Picture this! Ken the Butcher, handsome leader of the Smiling Dead, slays the human, saves the Gaslight District for another 10,000 years, until the human is born again. Blah, blah, blah. Also throwing some crap advertising the restaurant. Just look it over. If there's any problem at all, I swear I'll never bring it up again.
All this info is legit. The times, locations, the virtue.
Triple checked, sources confirmed, and then silenced. Blech.
Okay, you win. One condition. You don't leave my side. You pull any stunts like earlier today, and you never see sunlight again.
I don't know where to start. I don't know where to end. I don't know where to I don't know where to even go. Because it's like, what am I supposed to do? Just, like, they keep repeating myself about every single cool detail that's here? Because, like, be here for 14 hours. like little things like this, for example, right? Look at the smearing on the Rotling's hand, right? These choices about differential timing on when body parts move. The rendering, right, on like this burst of blood that follows the creature out. The fucking truck itself reacting to the impact of the thing. The way it jumps, the way the wheels spin. The asynchronous way in which its weight settles, giving it like this real feeling of being a mechanical thing. The use of like these doubled rows distorting into the camera. Of all of these fucking guards just standing there. Being used as like the framing device to just allow them to push the background closer. To create that sense of tremendous speed. And then this model just fucking smearing its ass all over the place while the animators are animating like these swirling, trailing flecks of blood, emphasizing the motion of the thing. All of it just like for that little... Like, for that, it's that fast, right? Like, all of that, all of those artistic choices, all of that work, all of that staging, right? Staging this whole ass fucking shot with all of those models, this, like, extremely lengthened distortion perspective, compositing that motherfucker into it. All of it just for that one single tiny little, not very meaningful shot, just to... The amount of effort that's on fucking display here is... And also, that's the other thing we haven't fucking talked about, I guess. We talked about this with Digital Circus, right? Like, this question of asset generation, right? You want to put all these things on screen, well, someone has to fucking build them, right? Like, someone has to create the 3D models, someone has to design the environment, someone has to put these things together. The Amazing Digital Circus, one of the things it does is it appropriates all these other objects from all these other places. Like, a lot of that show can probably be assembled off the back of a bunch of good Unreal Engine asset libraries, right? Like a bunch of good asset libraries of those kinds. You can probably assemble something like Digital Circus with some customization and things like that, but like a lot of the stuff you need to create the vistas, the backgrounds, the everything, you can probably source that from various places. I don't think you can with this. Like, I think every single fucking asset, probably not every single one, but so much of this is custom built and has to be custom built because it's rendering, it's surface texturing, like the chunkiness of the thing has to be put together from scratch to match the aesthetic of the actual thing, right? Because we're not working with any kind of generic aesthetic, we're working with this very handcrafted. So all of these fucking bottles of various different sizes have to be assembled. All of these pictures in the background with their crooked, uneven picture frames. That's the other thing, because everything in this show is crooked and uneven and like all the fuck over the place, right? Everything is. All of these assets have to be custom. Like this little fucking hookah smoker thing, whatever, used for one shot, never comes back, has to be custom built. All of this little fucking, like the fly head, I guess you can reuse from some other things, but these bottles... This fucking vase, this flower, these plants, this shit, whatever that is, all of this stuff, that has to be custom made. A bunch of the assets here, I guess, in the background, you could kind of reuse from other shots, but like so much of the shit, there's so many assets. So astonishingly many assets. Wildly many assets have to be custom generated, right? And it's one thing if the whole first episode all takes place within the Gaslight District itself, right? That's one environment, we can reuse a bunch of assets, we can sort of like, yeah, it's like fucking whatever, right? But it doesn't. it doesn't all take place just within the Gaslight District, because we also fucking go to heaven. We also do a bunch of shots establishing, like, parts of the world building with, like, people being tossed underground. Then we have these scenes in hell, or Inferno, with a bunch of custom-generated assets, with a bunch of color palettes, with a bunch of, like, materials texturing that doesn't show up anywhere fucking else in the show. And then they go to heaven, where you need a whole new set of entirely fucking custom bespoke assets and textures that match the aesthetic of the thing that you're doing. How much time, how much asset generation, how much effort? Because even heaven is not just one aesthetic, right? Like, we have the outdoor aesthetic, this, like, desaturated. Then we have, like, inside the checkpoint to heaven with this, like, heavily, like, we use a bunch of the white assets, but also you have to generate a bunch of assets that work with, like, this heavy orange hue. How much can you reuse? How much do you have to make custom for the purposes of this? The camera room. The laboratory. The stairway to heaven. And that's the other, like, the fucking lighting artists. I talked about it before. The lighting artists, the fucking cinematographers, the people, like, making sure that these color palettes work. Hello, Murgo's wet nurse.
Child blessed by black blood.
Ah, shit. That intel.
Oh, how you've grown. I see all, child. You cannot hide what you are from me.
Get Ken and Mel! Meet me at the entrance!
And then there's shots like this, right? We talked about this, like, with the angel mother as she's, like, leaping off the building. Beautiful animation timing on the character, for one thing, but just, like, the way they just manipulate the camera. The way they just fuck with the camera. In order to create scenes like this of falling. The foreshortening into the camera, the extreme animation distortions, right? The lighting artist working with all of this to outline the volume of the fall and of the character. So that the key posing, even though these nonsensical distortions into the camera make no fucking sense, so that reads correctly in the key posing. Swooping the camera all over the place, focusing in on, like just fucking making this shit work. The level, it's not just a level of creativity. There's a level of playfulness. There's a level of just sort of joyous expressivism here. An absolute delight in doing things for the sake of it. Like this fucking little dude with the hyper distortion. So many things that happen in this show, visually speaking, seem to be done just for the joy of it. Just because that's a fun way to do it, right? Like, just because so much of it seems to be about exploring a range and level of expression simply for the sake of doing it. And that's something like when you watch Pixar recently put out a movie, Elio, right? Actually, let me fucking... I'll shit on Pixar for a second. I'll risk the copyright claim. Turn the music off, though. Right? Like, this is so safe. It is so safe. It is so simplistic. It's so middle of the road. It's so not taking a chance with anything, right? In its animation style. Now, the word about Elio is that it was originally supposed to have like actual queer themes and something actually to say. But Disney fucking neutered that shit, like really brutally just destroyed what was supposed to be the story of the movie. And the team had to sort of assemble something from basically from the pieces of what was left behind after Disney had completely taken the axe to it. So I'm not gonna, like, the movie is what the movie is because of reasons. But Pixar used to be like the company that pushed the boundaries of what 3D animation could even do, right? They used to be that company. They used to be the company that invented the concept of 3D animation in like many, many other principles that are used for it. Like, they were sort of the originators of that. They don't push anymore. DreamWorks has learned to push. Sony Animation has learned to push, right? They've learned to push. Like, Sony Animation especially seems to be sort of banking on aesthetic innovation as like a key part of how they push their movies like Spider-Verse, right? And there's definitely something of that in Gaslight District, I think. There's something of Mitchell versus the Machines. There's something of like the wild expressionism that like DreamWorks pushed at one point as well. Like, think of Puss in Boots and The Last Wish, right? Is that what it's called? Last Wish? Can't remember. But the Puss in Boots movie, right? There are studios out there that are pushing, that are trying to push the boundaries of what you can do. They don't fucking come close, though. The level of variety, the level of sort of, like, this fucking shot, too. Right? This! Like, Gaslight District seems able to just go so much further. And it's an interesting thing of, like, I think it's in part because the show is less concerned about polish. Right? Not in the sense that it isn't polished, it's beautiful. But it's not concerned about being polished or palatable. Right? There's a total lack of concern about, well, is this going to appeal to a mainstream demographic? Is this going to appeal to, right? Like, nothing in this show seems to be made for the purposes of, like, we want to ensure that this is commercially viable. I think that's the thing. Like, this is possibly the least commercially viable show I have ever seen in my fucking life. Nothing about this is commercially viable in the slightest sense. Right? Like, Netflix would never. They will now, because it's gotten 400 gabillion dillion chillin' fucking views on YouTube or whatever. Like, they will now, because someone made it and put it out, and, like, clearly there was an enormous audience for it. But, like, none of them would ever have done this. They wouldn't have dared to. Because the production conditions of how like so much mainstream animation is made simply doesn't allow for something like this, right? Like Arcane was an astonishingly huge creative swing for the fences from Fortiche, right? Like still possibly one of the most gorgeous animated shows ever to be made for all that season 2 kind of, you know. And even that, like that swung for the fences in a way that like animation had not been willing to do in a long time. Even something like Arcane, I think, like even in its most joyous moments, even at the moments when it was like really pushing, Arcane is definitely prettier. Like it's definitely, it has the benefit of like being animated by fucking Studio Fortiche. This is on the level. Like this like the sheer level of craft, the sheer level of creativity, the sheer level of joy and personality on display here. This is on the level with Arcane, right? Like not, they can't get Imagine Dragons for a music video within the show. Like, sure, they don't have the kind of budget. It's a stunt. I don't know how the fuck they were able to afford this. I guess that digital circus money is coming in fucking handy. Like, they don't have the budget, but, like... And this is sort of the power of... Like, this is something it has in common with Hell of a Boss, Has-Been Hotel, things like that, right? Like, I talked about this with Has-Been Hotel and Hell of a Boss, that, like, these are shows that are for their own audiences, right? Like, it's like, these are shows that are made by people who are like, well, I'm hyper-fixated on this aesthetic. I really like this freaky, fucked up shit, this problematic bullshit, this, like, over-the-top soap opera nonsense, right? Like, I really like that shit. So I'm just gonna do that. Like, someone who's chasing their bliss, like, deeply, right? Like, really chasing their id and the weird fixations that they have in their head, and, like, Amazing Digital Circus is the same way, right? It also is very, very deliberately chasing itself, right? It's chasing its own expression, its own weirdness. And that's what Gaslight District is doing too. Like, this is a gross, disgusting, deeply unappealing show, mixing all kinds of weird aesthetics together. Like a lot of stop motion influence, obviously. There's a bunch of like 2000s Nickelodeon gross out humor and like Cartoon Network gross out humor in there. There's a whole bunch of like sort of morbid, self-indulgent Tim Burton inspired Nightmare Before Christmas OC shit. There's a whole bunch of grimy, grungy sort of fuck the man punk attitude in there, in the sense of like so much of the show is made deliberately to be off-putting and weird and like gross and disgusting. That's one thing about this show. This show loves disgusting. This show loves gross and slimy. It loves all of the ugliness and the like physical misery of a biological existence upon this earth, right? Slime and blood and guts and shit and piss, eventually cum, perhaps. It loves that. Like, it loves the ugliness and the grossness of being alive. And that's a thing, like, I've complained for years, like, when I've talked about, like, when I occasionally touch back on League of Legends skins and that, right? League of Legends is a video game that used to be quite gross, and used to revel in grossness, and used to have a little bit of this, like a little bit of that weird freak shit where someone is really into something that's ugly and they're kind of, ugh, right? Urgot in his pre-rework days was like that, right? And as that has professionalized, as that has commercialized, as League of Legends has become more and more concerned about like appealing to a mainstream audience so they can keep making infinity billion dollars and like have infinity billion players, that has all vanished, right? Like any ugliness, dirtiness, any sliminess, anything that's gross, gone. It is purged systematically from so much of our art. Right? So much of art, so much of expression, so much of everything. We talked about this, like, we were watching on the Discord server, we watched the movie Wings of Desire from 1987, I think. And one of the things that someone in chat commented on is, like, this movie from back then, oh, fuck, these people look like people, right? Like, all of the actors, all of the extras, everyone in the movie looked like, you know, actual human beings. They didn't look Instagram filtered. They didn't look like they had ever had Botox or done Ozempic. They didn't look like models. They didn't look like actors, right? They didn't look like polished. They looked like people, like with wrinkles and like texture and pores and things like that. Stuff that used to exist on film and in media, right? But that has vanished. When you look at what a movie star looks like nowadays, you would think they didn't have bodily fluids. Right, you would think that they've never had greasy skin. You would think that when you look at the fucking... I've got hiccups. Hang on. Water. When you look at costuming in movies nowadays, fucking costuming. One of the things about, like, when you watch the Lord of the Rings movies, one of the things that makes those movies work so fucking well is that everyone looks like the clothes they wear have been fucking lived in. Because they're beaten down, they're weathered, they look old, they look like they've been out in the rain, they look like they've been washed a few too many times. Like, they look like clothes that people wear, right? That have, like, the actual wear and tear of existence upon them, with frayed edges and things that are a little torn and shit like that. And, like... You look at costuming in a lot of MCU movies, or just like any mainstream blockbuster, any of them, even the historical movies, all of the costumes look like they came off the fucking line at like the tailor that morning, right? Everything in so many movies just looks new and fresh, right out of costuming, because no one takes the time to weather that shit anymore. Wigs look fake because time isn't spent making them look like they're probably acclimated to their actors, right? Every actor looks smooth as shit. Everyone has perfect skin. Everyone has perfect teeth, right? Everyone has a face that knows what an iPhone is because the face has been face-tuned to hell and back. Everyone is in perfect shape. Everyone follows the same gym routines that produce the same shape of bodies, right? Everyone does. And the variety and the dirt and the grime and the misery and the weirdness of the human embodied existence disappears from our art and from our media. And then I look at something like this. And its approach, not just to like character design or whatever, but to physicality, to mess, to ugliness, to dirt, right? To damage and pain and like physical sensation. Everything in this show looks like I can imagine the sensation of touching it, right? I can imagine like the roughness and the coarseness and the ugliness and the sliminess and the wetness of interacting with these things as physical objects. This is one of the powers, like this is one of the things that makes stop motion animation in some ways so effective, is because you are ultimately looking at photographs of real things, right? Of real objects that actually exist, that have texture, that have weight to them, that have like a presence, a physical presence in the world, right? Which is very much the opposite of what CGI often does. CGI often reduces things to like things that are textureless, things that are shiny, things that are weightless, things that are floaty. That I can feel the texture of this under my fingers by looking at it, right? This feels like something that exists. This feels like, despite being hyper stylized, distorted, cartoony nonsense. Everything in this show, to a much greater degree than almost any other animation I have seen in years, feels like it has a physical existence, some kind of presence, some kind of physicality to it. And, like, it's not like I've never seen this kind of imagery before, or these kinds of images, but I haven't seen filmmaking fixate on it, or care about it, or love it, or be interested in it for a fucking long time. This visceral sense of physical sensation. There's an old film criticism line that goes something like the purpose of film is la nouvelle image, right? Like the new image, to show people something that they've not seen before, right? The purpose of watching a movie is to see something you haven't seen before, to experience something you've not experienced before. This is that. Like I've seen lots of things that are in some way kind of like Gaslight District. I've seen stop motion animation. I've seen, like, sort of this style of gross, like, sort of slimy character design before. I've seen all the constituent parts of this show somewhere, but I've never seen them put together like this. I've never seen them assembled with this kind of aesthetic flair. I've never seen it. Like, this show looks like it has a kink for itself, right? This show looks like it gets off on its own goriness, and its own weirdness, and its own distortions, and its own fucked upness. Like, this looks like someone working out fucking some kind of fixation, right? This show is horny for its own fucked up weirdness, in a way that a lot of things just aren't really horny for themselves anymore. And I don't mean horny necessarily in the sense of sexual. I mean horny in the sense of, like, that visceral physical sensation of fixation, right? When you see something or experience something that's like, oh shit, this is my thing, this is my god, this is the thing I want to immerse myself in. That's what it feels like this show is for itself. Every part of it feels like something that someone who was working on it was like, yeah, this thing, like some sick fucking freak was sitting there giggling to themselves going, this is my thing, this is my shit, like grossness, slime, right? It feels like some little freak was getting just such a fucking good time making this. It feels personal in that way. Like, this feels like something that came from someone, from people, right? It feels like something that came from someone who had something on their mind, some kind of vision, some kind of aesthetic that they wanted to explore. And that's rare. It shouldn't be. But it is. It's rare. That's not to say that this is like an unassailable masterpiece or whatever. That's not to say like, oh, this is 10 out of 10, the best thing ever. No, absolutely not. Once I've rewatched this thing a couple of times, I'll find my nitpicks. I'll find plenty of nitpicks. Easily, no problem. It's just, this is the kind of thing that makes me excited for animation. Tremendously creative people using the tools they have access to the fullest extent for the joy of it. So much of this is for the joy of it. Because this image tickles someone, right? These images make someone go, oof, right? And, like, I can kind of forgive it everything because of that. It's like, oh yeah, nitpick, sure. But, like, where else Where else in the universe am I gonna see this? Who else in the world is gonna show me any of this? No one, really. So, like, yeah, I have nitpicks. There's definitely things about the setup, the world building in the first act. There are things about, like, the emotional arc of the thing. Like, there are mysteries that it's setting up right now to be answered later that are sort of like a little bit J.J. Abrams mystery box things where it's like, okay, like, but is this mystery meaningful? Or are you just setting it up as a teaser to make sure that you get to produce the rest of the show? There are things like that where, like, some of it feels needlessly kind of cryptic about itself, where I think it could probably have told more of its actual story, made a little bit more of where it's going a little bit clearer. Right? There are some emotional relationships between the characters that could maybe have used another second or two of beat to make them really land, but, like,
God tells me to do this to one of my own. So I won't. Redhead, do it for me.
Please, listen to me!
The shop won't be the same without you, buddy.
Cement him.
Make sure to hold your breath once you reach the bottom. A fight way worse than death. Cement! Cement! Cement!
there's, like, there are times that I despair. I really do. There are times that I really despair. AI is taking over everything because a few billionaires think they can jerk off with a couple of extra $1 million bills if they do it. People are getting laid off everywhere. Animators have horrible working conditions everywhere. There are times I really fucking despair, right? Like, I despair of the idea that, like, so many people who could do so many things are never gonna get to. Shows like this are the thing that tide me over, you know? Like, this is the shit that keeps the black mist from closing in completely. Again, not because it's perfect, but because it's itself. And because it loves being itself. It loves being itself. It revels in this. It's so joyous.
Who's counting? How's my muddy buddy?
I hate ya. I'll always hate ya. I will never forgive you.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah. Fucking hell. Like, in an ideal world, like, shit like studios like Spindlehorse, channels like Glitch, they're 1 in a billion, right? There's 1,000, there's 1,000,000 people who have ideas that are just as good, but who will never get access to the resources. who'll never get to do this, right? Like, who'll never get this out, to tell their story, to be seen, to be heard in this way. It's the injustice of it, man. Some Silicon Valley dipshit waste of space, thief of good air that would be better served in the lungs of better people, is going to take home another $100 million this year. Money that could have made 100 shows like this easily, right? And they're going to do that for nothing more than, like, doing coke and ketamine in the boardroom and, like, hiding the secret child they have with their secretary. When a fraction of that money could be given to some fucked up weirdo online freak and just say, hey, fucking do some shit with this. Show us something, right? Show us something weird and gross and stupid and wild and horny and fucked up and over the top and personal. Fractions of a fraction of the money that is wasted on the executive class could go to this. Just to give a few more people the chance of this. That would be democratizing art, by the way. Like, dipshits with AI profiles, oh, AI is democratizing. No, because AI will never make this. There's no prompt. Before this existed, there's no prompt. None. There's nothing you could have typed into any image generator anywhere on Earth that would have produced the Gaslight District, even if the actual creators of the show spent years meticulously typing in exactly what they wanted into every image generator on Earth. It would never have existed, because it couldn't have until someone made it. This is... This is the thing that kills AI. This is the thing that repudiates the logic of capitalism as applied to art. Because this is not... No one made this for a demographic. There is a demographic for it, obviously. Clearly there is. But this is like... This wasn't like, oh, we focus tested this with panels of, like, diverse people from, like... No one fucking did. Like, I guess marketing people might have tested it with test audiences, right? Like, you might have had, like, gathered feedback, but that's not the thing, right? Like, this wasn't made to be commercially viable, which is why it's able to be this way. Warts and all, so many warts. God, just truly an unbelievable number of warts, right? And I just, it gives me some fucking hope. That despite everything, something like this still gets made by a bunch of truly weirded out freaks.
Crusty, musty, rusty all over. You ain't one of us, and you never will be.
Too late! I already have.
Now look at you, huh? Delicate, unscarred, all your original limbs, untouched by this putrid world. And I would like to keep it that way. Now look at us, crusty, musty, rusty all over. You ain't one of us, and you never will be.
As I was saying, I may have our biggest job yet.
Ooh, What's the take? Better be enough to get me one of them cozy mattresses. Sick of sleeping on that meat hook.
No, Mud. This has nothing to do with Scarab. More like... Human hay egg A.
The human egg.
It's a human.
I did some digging and figured out where it is. Paradise Lost. We sneak our way into heaven, snatch the egg from its frail old mother, then smash it in front of the whole town. Boom! We're legends!
Well, Paradise Lost belongs to the Virtues.
Yeah. I'm just kind of happy right now. I want to see another few episodes of this. Right? Like I said, nitpicks. I don't know that this is going in a brilliant place. I don't know that the story is going to be special or affecting. Like I said, there's a bunch of religious imagery. We've got some Christ metaphors going on. Like, so much religious imagery. Like, is Mel a Christ figure, right? Like, is she someone who's going to redeem the world of the Gaslight District somehow? That seems to be what it's setting up for, but okay, are we undercutting that? What is this show's relationship to that kind of faith, right? Like, what is this show's and this story's relationship to concepts of sin and redemption? What is its relationship to religion, to authority, to its world, its people? What does it think is worth preserving, right? Who knows? I don't know where it's going. I need to see more. I need to see more. I need to see more. I fucking need to.